Hello, everyone. Josh here. I know you're not used to speaking with me or seeing me for SOTUesday, but Adrian and I and a few others are working on presenting a TV show at our local community television station. And what we offer you today is SOTU's contribution to that session, which was the first one, which happened last Friday. I'm not sure that Adrian and I are satisfied with our piece of it, but SOTU, as usual, is brilliant in their own way. So we present that to you along with a new intro for Conversations with SOTU, which is what we have titled the program, and we hope you enjoy it. And so have yourself a great day, and we'll see you for a next SOTUesday.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living life in peace.
Are you ready?
We'll have some fun.
We'll have some fun. Alrighty. All right, give us a moment. All right. Hello.
Hello, SOTU.
Hello, Adrienne. And how are you today?
I'm pretty damn fine.
Oh, pretty darn fine. Yes,
Pretty
you
darn
are.
fine.
All right, all right. So, what would you like us to cover today?
Well, the world is in such upheaval. Here in this country, the tumult with the elections, the repercussions of that, but it's not just here. The entire world seems to be in a snow globe being shaken up. Why?
Well, growth. The simple answer is growth. Earthly humanity is going through a dynamic of understanding, of expansion of awareness, of growth that is undeniable and unavoidable. Yes, you are all creating your realities, and yet you are all involved in a great dance of co-creation. That is the dynamic that you have forgotten. In fact, there is so much that you have forgotten as far as what your own personal empowerment is, as far as the dynamics of how you create your reality. You have, for many millennia, forgotten. And there have actually been, what shall we say, those in your world that would keep you from having the knowledge, keep you from having the awareness that, in fact, you have the ability, each as individuals and as a collective energy, of recreating everything. And so everything that is occurring in your world right now is asking you, who is it that you are going to be? Who is it that you are going to be as individuals? And who is it that you are going to be as a species? And even all the dynamics that are occurring in your world are asking you the same question. You have, what shall we say, in this dynamic of the recent election, if you can step back, we know you don't like us to speak about politics so much, but this is a reflection of the dynamic of growth that you are all being urged to experience. Now, no one lives or dies by accident, so you must understand that you have incarnated in this lifetime so that you could say, hey, I was there. I helped. So none of you are here by accident. And each of you are here to, what shall we say, walk your own path, to be able to realize that you create your reality through your thoughts, your words, and your feeling. In this dynamic of growth, you must also, if you can use the analogy of your physical growth in your physical body, you can understand where you are as your growth in a species, from the species. You had a childhood, which many of you describe as a dynamic of back in the garden. And it was a paradise, dear ones, but it wasn't a paradise because God got us all that is, was out there giving you everything. No, it was through a dynamic that you all had and still have. This process of channeling is a vestige of that kind of energy, that energy that we called direct cognition. If you are to understand direct cognition, just remember the time that you may have seen hundreds of birds all flying in one direction, and then all of a sudden, with no seeming communication, they just all changed directions without crashing into each other. This is a dynamic of communication that occurs between species in an interspecies dynamic that it allows one to communicate. Earthly humanity still has that ability. But just as a child moves and grows, so too as a species did you move and grow. Just as a child needs to separate from the mother and the father in order to develop an identity of their own, so too as a species did you need to separate from nature, separate from each other, and yes, dear ones, even separate from spirit. And so understand that the dynamic that you are experiencing now is simply a dynamic of growth. You have done nothing wrong. You are perhaps dragging your feet a little bit at this point, but we would suggest to you that reality is offering you many opportunities for change, many opportunities for expansion of energy. You know, the dynamic that you're longing for is freedom. The dynamic that you're longing for is empowerment. The dynamic that you're longing for is understanding, creating understanding. What is your place in the world? What is your place in the universe? Please understand, dear ones, there is a dynamic of communication that is going on between you and your soul. And that also occurs on a collective basis with what we call the consensus reality. There is also the language that is coming from the consensus reality. Find irony, and you will find the soul of your species speaking to you. And what is the most recent ironic moment?
Well, Berkeley was pretty ironic.
Yeah, Berkeley. Isn't that interesting? A dynamic where was the birth of free speech, and yet free speech was being closed down. And we think the most ironic humor of the universe was just simply the election of Donald Trump in that sort of way. So please understand, dear ones, your reality is speaking to you. But there is such a cacophony of energy out there. There is such a cacophony of noise that is really hard to find the truth. And so that is one of the reasons that we wish to speak to you all now, is to be able to answer your questions so that you may figure it out, and so that you may find the dynamic of your personal truth plus the collective truth of your species. You are moving into a place where it's going to be considered your adulthood as a species, but it's also going to mean your movement into an advanced civilization. A civilization that measures itself by how well the least of you are doing, not the best of you.
So I'll just interject that in these future shows we will be focusing much more on SOTU channeling, and we're going to welcome your questions, which you may send in through our website, so that we can answer your specific questions. And SOTU would also be the first to say,
Question everything that we say. Now, we are not saying be cynical, but we are certainly saying be skeptical. Question it. And if it rings true for you, dear ones, then you can own the truth for yourself. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak with you today. We are SOTU, and we love you all so very, very much. And so until the next time we close, sending you peace, sending you happiness, sending you joy.
And thank you for joining us for Conversations with SOTU. Please feel free to send your questions. Hi, Josh. Send your questions through our website, which will be listed at the end of the show. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
You may say I'm a dream.